Hi there. My name is Emily, and I am going to share a story with you today. So I'm so excited to get to read together. I love to read. It's one of my favorite things to do. I read lots of books all the time, all different kinds of books, and I hope that you are learning to love reading too. The story we get to read together today is called Corduroy. It's about a bear in these green overalls, and we are going to learn about his story. The book is written by Don Freeman, and actually Don Freeman is the illustrator as well. An illustrator is someone who draws the pictures in the book, or colors, or paints. There's different ways you can go about illustrating the book, but that's who did the pictures and wrote the story. So Don Freeman, we are thankful that you gave us the story Corduroy. Let's get started, should we? This is where it tells you that the pictures and the story were by Don Freeman. Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. There he is, waiting with his friends. You know what? I'm actually going to put my glasses on. They help me read. Maybe some of you have to wear glasses, and that is okay. Sometimes we have to do things that help us. All right. Continuing with Corduroy. The store was always filled with shoppers, buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Do you see him there, right here? Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Do you see? You can see that his strap doesn't have a button. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." So there they are walking away. She's sad. Here he is, noticing his lost button. Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. See him climbing down, looking around for the button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Look at him go. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. There he goes, up the escalator. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." Do you see? Look at all of those pieces of furniture. He wandered around, admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, there's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. There he's crawling up and sees the button, trying to get it. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. There he goes. Oops. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Here he comes. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." Starts to look. He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. There they are. See his ears? "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" He found Corduroy. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Back down the escalator he goes, back on the shelf. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. There she is. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." She's counting her coins. "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. See him walking out of the store? She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs, into her family's apartment, and straight to her own room. There she goes. Look how excited she is. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." How wonderful. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." There she is, sewing on his button. "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. The end. Well, thank you for reading that story with me. I just love it, and I hope that you did too. I'll see you all soon. Keep reading.